Welcome to today's collective reading. Begin by doing some clearing. I'm coming down with a bit of, I don't think it's quite a cold, I think it's a little bit of allergies, but because it's winter, there's more time indoors, so it's something inside. So if I sniffle, my apologies. Okay, so what definitely was coming through very strong was the unlocking of the awareness of what it is to the individual, to you, to those around you, to how they impact and they like it's a chain reaction. You affect everyone you encounter. And you probably even impact people you never even meet, because those people impact other people and they impact other people. It's a domino effect. So when you choose to contemplate what it is to thrive, it's opening the door for other people to start wondering what that looks like for themselves, especially if you directly express that. If you model it, that has a really strong impact as well, because they want to know, hey, like, what would that be like for me? Even if it is on a subconscious level, their subconscious is questioning that, because you're walking your talk. So, there's not a single person that I have met in my life or encountered that has not at some point in their life known what it is to be in a state of a victim mindhood. There's also not someone that I've met who hasn't been able to move into, oh, I got a kitty coming over here. No. Who does not know what it is to move into a state of survival, like owning being a survivor, which that is huge. Even if you go back into the victim mindhood, being in the survivor mindhood is a huge achievement. It takes a lot of strength. And some people, it takes many lifetimes of getting to the survivor mode to begin to really be able to see beyond that. And it can simply be something that starts with someone else leaving that little seed, that little, hey, I'm moving into what it is to live in thriving mode. I've been in the victim mode. I've been in the survivor mode many times, and now I'm wanting to own what it is to be in the thriving mode. If you encounter someone like that, whoever you are, it doesn't matter how periphery you are observing that, plants a seed in you. You start to wonder, what would that be like for me? Even if it's subconscious. So that transition, the question of what does thriving mode look like? How do I move beyond that? Where am I in the survivor, the victim, the thrive? And sometimes you're in all three, depending on the topic, the trigger that comes through. If you pull out 5 or 6 different bins of issues at the same time, because you have one issue that comes up and it's got a bit of everything from those 7 bins, you're going to get overwhelmed. And they may have a mixture of victim, survivor, and thrive in there. So to break it down, to separate, to organize, to take your time and to be patient and gentle with yourself. So when you do own this, however things end up shaking down finally at the end of the organization within you, you can own it as your truth, meaning you don't have to rehash it. And if you do find yourself revisiting it, it's because some major life change occurred. Maybe you become a parent. that radically changes how you relate to the world and yourself, because you're responsible for another life. Maybe you end up taking care of your parent. Maybe they're elderly. Maybe you become more of a parent to your parent. That's huge. Maybe you get married. Maybe you find freedom in moving on from a job, a career, some kind of relationship commitment, some kind of family tie or dynamic. That's when these things get rehashed a little bit. But because you did all that work the first time, you're not having to do all of that and all of what comes with the change too. You've done the road work. You know yourself. You've already laid the path. You just got to walk it a little bit more, widen it a little bit more. But you're not having to break that path in fresh. So, it's a really powerful message coming in. Let's see what your guardians, your guides, the ancestors, the divine source, the angels would like to communicate directly to those that are tuning in, the collective that is tuning into this reading. What synchronicities would they like to bring forward for you? Maybe they don't resonate in this moment. Maybe they're going to resonate tomorrow. Maybe the day after. Maybe you learn about something in the past from someone you know, and you mean such and such had that happen, and oh my gosh. It's amazing how these things end up working. So when you notice them, know that that's you communicating with you, and that the divine is that. Like the divine, the spark, the light, the love is that. Okay. What deck do they want me to use? Okay, well, they keep having me pause this one, so okay, all right, we're gonna use the an Archangel deck here, actually. So we're gonna begin with the Archangel deck as the Oracle to begin with here. A Dream Virtue. All right. So let's see here. What would you guys like to highlight here for the collective? Let's kind of begin with the physical, which is where I was going, with your 3D, your physical reality, your everyday experience, and relationship harmony. Observing at what's going on within you while you move through interacting with other people, and how that changes how you relate to yourself, the immediate interaction and its immediate effect within you. It's like, how do you want to put it? I'll put it this way. So say you're vibrating at a high frequency and you encounter, a light frequency. There's probably not going to be much of an alteration or a change in your own vibration. But if you encounter someone of a higher or lower vibration than you, it can affect the resonance or the energy within you, either raising it or lowering it. Because you are human beings, we're social creatures. We long to connect with one another. It's vital for our health. This is Archangel. Forgive me, I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly. My intention is good, though. Archangel Raguel. We angels are opening the hearts of everyone involved. Arguments and conflicts are being resolved now. So if there are, which this definitely highlights that there could definitely be some conflicts going on right now in your life and relationships, the divine is coming in. That love within you desires there to be balance, to be harmony, for there not to be conflict. And because of that love, that light in you expresses that vibration, that higher vibration, and affects theirs. Theirs being the dynamic, the situation, the individuals. It raises theirs. You don't have to do anything. This happens through spirit, through 5D, just through being you, just through owning that this is what you desire. You don't have to push, you don't have to nudge, you don't have to force. The divine's coming in to aid you, to co-create this with you. All right. Oh, okay. They want me to grab, they being my, my higher self, working with all of my people, working with all of your people. Okay. So we're going to grab some of the tarot here. Okay. Just to bring in a little more specific emphasis and synchronicities for you guys. In the physical, this is what's being highlighted for moving from survivor to thrive, from victim to survive to thrive. Ooh, wow, okay. Now, I typically don't read these in reverse, but these two, they just flew out. Okay, and they definitely landed on this side. So, just to kind of give you guys a good visual here. This is the Two of Swords. Oh boy, okay. And that's inverted. And then we have the Three of Swords. And this deck is not in order. This is not in order. I can show you here. And this is also in reverse. So this is how they kind of fell out with that Two of Swords upright. So I'll just show you. We have the Ace of Pentacles, Four of Wands, Judgment. It's not in order. For them to come out sequentially like that is definitely a synchronicity. So 23, 5, it's a union. 5 energy is like union within self. All of you is on the same page. It's, I completely own this or completely don't. This is my truth. I don't have any doubt about how I feel about this. So this being inverted, this is a bringing in of hope. Definitely bringing in hope. If you have not experienced this yet, you will begin to experience this. Because it fell on this side implies that it is past tense. So for the majority of the collective, more than likely, there was either you or another energy that was stuck waiting, undecided, waiting, and the amount of overthinking involved and all of the emotion that's triggered by all of that thinking, oh my goodness, and just certain almost. I mean, there's a little bit of light in there, right? There's a little bit of grounding with the earth, and there's a little bit of the third eye and thought, There's still hope because this individual is still connected to their love, the divine within them. They're pretty brokenhearted. They pretty much had lost hope. All right. So what do you guys want to highlight for what's coming in then for the collective tuning in here for the physical? What would you like to highlight here? All right, we're going to start here. Did you want to do 2 cards again, guys? Yeah, let's do 2. Let's grab one more here. Ooh, interesting. Okay, so 5 of Pentacles. In this particular deck, it doesn't necessarily mean that the typical traditional meaning of 5 of Pentacles is you're out in the cold, you feel left out, you feel lonely, you feel rejected. This person, it's like you're on a smoke break, right? You're at work, you just had something happen, it was pretty intense, and you're out there and you're just like, oh my gosh, I have 4 more hours of this. And you have a coworker out there with you who has no idea what you got going on, no clue, but they understand what it is to work at the same place. So you have someone who understands because they've been there. They may not know the specifics, but they understand what feels unjust and why you're confused and why you might have some inner conflict. So you have someone, even if you don't fully open, I think it's really interesting too that this person is holding what looks like a purse or a bucket. It looks more to me like a bucket with a couple of straps. It could be a purse, so it's an implication of carrying something with you. I wouldn't necessarily say that it's like a heavy burden, but it weighs on you subtly all the time. You don't put your hands in your pockets and let them warm up like this person that's out there with you, just enjoying being out of the building for a little bit. Almost a sense of being at a loss. You've found a kindred spirit in the essence of you don't have to speak what's going on for you to know that you're not alone in it. So you may not actually fully open up about this situation at all with this individual, but there's a quiet understanding and support from them. You can speak to them. Like some people, however you deal with something like this, you need that. So you may have opened up to this person, and this is, an angel in disguise. For a moment there, the divine is acting through this person, is being there, supporting you. And they may not, necessarily consciously know this, but it's the Archangel Raguel stepping in to help set that base. And there can be a lot of other angelic, ancestral energies involved in providing this safe moment for you, the safe space. So it's a stepping away to reflect, to come back refreshed. It's not a, you're done, it's over, you're rejected, you never get to come back inside and warm up. It's a, wow, what just happened? How do I process this? So whatever this conflict is, moving into the future, something's going to shift, and you're going to be a bit in like, what just did that just happen? Because it brings in so many new possibilities. Well, which one do you want? You're sitting with this and you're like, but I was just freezing my butt off. You have opportunities, you have light, you have a sense of gratitude for, being warm, for being inside, for having these new beginnings that are within you. Whatever you seek to manifest in these relationship conflicts, you affect your own way of relating to them to affect the way that those in the situation dynamic relate to the conflict as well. You can affect what you think, how you move, what you give your power to. You can affect that. You cannot control, affect, influence another person without violating their free will. And the collective tuning in here, especially with the energies coming through, you have the highest good in mind when you move. So sometimes, when you care a lot about other people, you can kind of lose sight of yourself in trying to help them. This Seven of Cups really is jumping out at me that these new beginnings are within you. You're not going to find this butterfly or this new beginning when in someone else. It exists within you. Yes, that new beginning can be down that timeline of choices and decisions that you make when you're co-creating that experience with the love, the divine within yourself. There can be other energies you end up pairing up with, grouping with, interacting with. But that butterfly right now, that new beginning, that seed is before you. It begins in you. And you can choose more than one. You can entertain all of them. You can nurture all of them and choose later which ones aren't quite right. But, you still learned. You still learned. Very, very deep, beautiful message. Okay, so we have physical reality. You're moving through your daily life. Relationships have been weighing heavy and affecting you in all the other areas. So let's see what's going on in more of the emotional. So this is the heart space. Definitely the heart space. This is the bridge between your physical reality and your higher self, your 5D experience. So I'm gonna move this over a little bit here. I'm gonna make room because I'm gonna do 3 cards for sure. All right, so let's do for what does the collective need to know? What do you desire them to know, archangels? Oh boy, okay, got kind of choppy here. Okay, indigo and crystal children. This card, it's got such, I want to put it, playful, innocent, reset, blank slate, karmic clearing, really. Ooh, yeah, that's a big one. Karmic clearing. Okay, so Archangel Metatron is a lot about math and symbols, like the Merkaba symbol can be, when you visualize it, as 2 pyramids spinning. It becomes a shield around you. It protects you. It elevates you. It makes you safe within inside that completely. It's you, yourself, and the divine. And Archangel Metatron, there's other symbols that he specialized in like that are attributed to coming from this archangel. It might be worthwhile looking into some of these symbols and maybe researching their application. It's possible that this would be worthwhile bringing in while dealing with this very physical and emotional experience to help you remain grounded and connected to your inner peace. Now, I do want to highlight, because this is the heart chakra, the heart space, the emotional space, that something that I've encountered in my life from my own experience, oh sorry, I just tapped the microphone there, as well as elders in my life. Something they tell you is you fall in love with the inner child inside of another person. You fall in love with that inner child, that innocence, that playfulness, in spite of how old they are, what job they hold. They're still going to have that playful side, and they choose to share that with you. And when that happens, you fall. And people don't typically just easily show that. So this is an intuitive connection to that inner child within yourself, falling in love with you. That's the first place to start, is to get to know your inner child and fall in love with being that protective parent, that big sister that you always wanted. Telling your inner child, you know what, I have this. You don't have to worry about this. And you may actually work with other children you may have a love interest here, since it is emotional and heart space, who has children, and you feel a connection to their own inner child. However old the children may be, they may be teenagers. And yes, they still very much are pretty tapped into their inner child. They're breaking away and trying to figure out who they are as adults. So you're still feeling that connection. You're observing. You're feeling the communication between you and the inner child as well. That can definitely be present. And the concept of crystal, I have like the selenite here. This is very high vibrational crystal, which is why I use it for clearing. I have a Himalayan salt crystal lamp here, which puts off such good energy. And I have a kyanite, which balances the chakra system. It aligns that. So it might be something that you're called to do is to, maybe you saw a crystal at the local shop and you just kind of hesitated for a moment. Maybe this is, what, you're supposed to go buy it. Or research it, or look into something. If you could go to like a crystal website and you look up at the meanings, or you're like, I want something for protection, and it gives you a whole list kind of a deal. Protection can also be reworded as shielding. So this emotional experience that you're having is emotional for you, but if you feel the emotions of others in this challenging dynamic, it can become somewhat overwhelming. So you maybe could benefit from some subconscious keys, like a crystal, to aid your subconscious in knowing that there is a barrier between them, between their emotions and yours. So you don't have to own their emotions as your own. All right. What would you like to highlight then, in specific, aside from all the channeling that you guys got me doing here, or the collective tuning in here for the art space? Divine archangels, angels. Okay. Ooh, 7 of Pentacles. Okay, and in the future, the Hanged Man. Ooh, beautiful. Okay. So, I say so a lot. I gotta work. I just get so excited and I lose track. I'll be working on that though. Oh my goodness, that's just beautiful. Look at that card. So in the past, you have been meditating. You've been co-creating the world with the divine. A space that is safe for your inner child and for any children that you feel a protective need or a desire to nurture and contain. Yes, that's the better wording for that. Thank you, Spirit. So you've been co-creating this, and it is very abundant, and it's time to open the eyes. Like, you've made this connection. You've connected this bridge. The higher self, the 5D and the 3D are meeting right here. It's if it's not already created, it's being created, which then would bring to the Hanged Man. The Hanged Man, like, to me, this tells me that you just all you need to do at this point is acknowledge that this has come into being. The Hanged Man in this position, in this card, he's got his head facing down, like he's still in meditation. She doesn't quite have her head like straight up facing down. She could just be staring straight forward. But with the head tilted, it's even more of an implication of going within. But if you look around him, he is on this earth, this planet, this world. He is immersed in it. So your manifestation, your connection with that inner self, your desire to create that nurturing environment for the inner child within you, within another individual, with other, like their children, with your children. It's there. There's still so many possibilities on top of what has already been co-created. And it is a divine gift. It is a manifestation. And I say this because it's like, I keep saying the details that are coming through, but the constant message that is like neon light flashing, your manifestation is here. Open your eyes. See it. You fear possibly opening your eyes to see that it's not there. That what you smell and what you feel and what you hear is an illusion. It's truth. You are surrounded and supported by Gaia and the divine. Gaia is like the soul of the planet. Divine lives within Gaia. And you are in this position right now of experiencing the beauty of Earth, of Gaia, of this co-creation. And divine is within all of that. It is not an illusion. Peek, I dare you. Peek, just a little bit. Get a little bit of the sunlight. And, peek a little bit more until you're not so scared that if you look to the left, it's not going to be sunny. If you look to the right, it's not going to be sunny. Guess what? It's sunny to the left, it's sunny to the right. This is real. This is real. You can safely open your eyes and embrace this manifestation that you and divine have co-created. The love within you called this love into your life. You raised your vibration. You challenged yourself to move beyond victimhood state to survival state. And you dared to take the step to thrive. And you're getting that opportunity because you wanted it. Because you loved yourself enough for it. Because you loved the innocence in yourself and in others enough to thrive, if not solely for you, for the sake of thriving to set the example. Why not? Why not? Ah, so beautiful. Okay, so what does the collective need highlighted here? Oh, I would like to just read this really quickly, just because sometimes speaking the words on the card that are intended to be spoken, because they are in quotes, has a very powerful impact to hear them. To read them is one thing. You kind of like speak the words in your mind to yourself, and that can be very powerful. But as human beings, we are social creatures. To hear the human voice has an impact. And there's so much within the human voice that is subtle, but we instinctively understand. When you read, you lose the emotion, the rhythm. There's so much that can be lost when you read instead of hear the words spoken. So I invite you to read this out loud to yourself at any point. And I'll read it now for you guys too. You have a bond with children. In particular, you can help children who are sensitive. It's a possibility that either you or a child within your life is displaying sensitivities, awarenesses, intelligences, aptitudes that are beyond the range of normal for, whatever that means, right? Whatever normal is. I will tell you this right now. I have been in communication with some individuals that are, at the top of their field, working with autism in adults, in children, in teenagers, in even, like many different walks of life. This group of individuals is very in the know with the current research. And what they have said to me is that they have proven that most human beings, subconsciously, their brain is aware of everything within a 10-foot radius. Now, if you have the genes and the environment in your developmental years, that awareness can expand beyond the 10 foot. So if you live in an apartment building, like right now, I'm 2 feet from my neighboring apartment wall. That's telling me that my brain is proven to be aware of another 8 feet that direction. Consciously, I may not be aware of it. Subconsciously, I'm aware of it. They've proven that. Now add 10 feet, add 20 feet. So sensitive children they have more awareness, but no language for it. They have no way of organizing it. You have that way of helping them to know, A, they're not alone. B, you've been there, and you can try to help them find their way to understand their own experience, because you've found some ways that work for you that maybe don't work for them, but you may have found some that do work for them. To a child, looking at your own childhood, wouldn't it have been nice to have somebody there to be able to be that, right? If you're from the generation where if you were diagnosed with Asperger's, it was a masculine only, like feminine, like women, girls did not get diagnosed with that. Ooh, okay, interesting. But that I was doing that while talking about that, and it came out for the 5D. But I want to finish that thought there, which is, it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. If you are predominantly in assertive energy or masculine energy, if you feel far more comfortable there, and you're not of, the outward expression of that does not matter. It's not a measure of your masculinity or femininity if you are a man who prefers to be more receptive. There is profound strength in that. Profound strength in that. We come in all different shapes and sizes and all different kinds of energy. And that's something that this celebrates. That innocence. To allow the child to find their own way. To provide that safe container, but not dictate to them who they are. Someone who has experienced being around individuals that I'm pretty sure were high functioning Asperger's or autistic, but didn't have the current research and treatments available, could have really benefited greatly for maybe having had those abilities and those options and those treatments and those modalities and that wisdom, that knowledge in the treatment space with the doctors and the therapists then that they have now. There's definitely some people in this collective that this is like your home spot. This is beautiful. Like, this is the nurturing of the next generation of sensitives that come in. You're meant to work with that. Whew, wow. And this is challenging because you are sensitive. And in understanding this dynamic and working through this in the physical, you are modeling for your inner child and the children around you how to deal with this. Because they're going to grow up and they're going to have to deal with things similar. So they're learning by observing you. It's just beautiful. I do want to state that if some of this resonates, great. If all of it resonates, that's amazing. If anything here does not resonate with you, that's perfectly okay. Those aspects are just not meant for you. And that's perfectly fine. You may find later down the road that maybe they were. Maybe they were synchronicity you didn't see yet. That's interesting that I had said that at the beginning of the reading and it come back around. And I do want to state too as well that there is no gender in the tarot. It is all energy. In the oracle, there is no gender. It is all energy. There's even a concept that the archangels are facets of divine. They're different aspects of the divine personality. So it's not really about gender. It's about energy. Receptive, assertive, healthy, balanced. Ooh, okay. So for the 5D, we have, and I'll bring this up really close here, we have the healthy lifestyle with Archangel Raphael. So Raphael is the healer, the ultimate healer. And you can call on Archangel Raphael at any point, if you're concerned about something going on within you with your shadow work to help aid you in healing. The way that, you could approach it if it doesn't really quite feel like, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if Archangel Raphael will hear me or if I'm worthy or, anything like that. Like, you don't need to go there because that's directly going to a negative. Do you know what it is to feel, see, and experience love? Have you ever witnessed it? Have you ever thought you witnessed it? You ever felt it? That's divine. You're worthy. You feel it. You're capable of love. You're worthy. So this is a specific aspect, which is healing. So asking for this specific aspect, if you decide to, if you want to, if you're comfortable with that, to aid you, it's asking divine to give you special focus in one area right off the bat. If that's how you feel most comfortable communicating. If not, it's a concept, it's a subconscious key, it's an awareness of the archetype, the energy. And the 5D is really highlighting the need for you to take care of yourself, to nurture yourself through habits, through diet, through routine, to create that balance, not just in your spiritual self, in your heart space, but in your physical reality that has nothing to do with feeding or solving this relationship harmony. It's about feeding the relationship harmony with yourself so that when you come to this, say there's a meeting that you're going to have. So there's some kind of meeting and it's kind of high stress and you're a little worried how it's going to go. If we're going to play off of this work thing, maybe you got a coaching. Maybe, you're going to be pulled into the boss's office and you're going to be talked to about something and you're a little worked up about it. You're a little nervous. If you have slept well, if you're not hungry, so you're not hangry, you're not incredibly overtired, you're going to be able to be more grounded, present, and emotionally level. You're not going to be this high, low, drastic, easy to go from top to bottom of the scale like that and have to try to cope with that and appear level. That takes a lot of energy. And it's hard when it's your job. So if you nurture that side of you, you're setting a foundation that allows you to not have to compensate for such high extremes or high extremes, because there's like the other side, which is low. That's not quite the right word, but such drastic, there we go. Thank you, Spirit. Such drastic extremes internally. What's being highlighted for me, because like from my own experience to share with you guys, because I'm sure everybody at some point in their life has struggled with sleep, is to go outside when you wake up. Even if it's just, to be directly in the window and, like, I don't know, maybe it's 40 below. Who wants to go outside for 5 minutes? Oh my gosh. I don't, it's 40 below, it's cold. That being said, being in that natural sunlight, kind of first thing in the morning where you're almost squinting because it feels too bright, be there for 5 minutes. And your circadian rhythm will begin to set around that. There's a lot of things, and some things work for people that don't work for others, but that one took me years to find, and it's very powerful. I even did like the lamp thing, and that just knocked me out. So natural light sleep is definitely being highlighted here, and taking care of yourself here allows you to move to a new beginning, the Six of Swords. What once, like, if you're not taking care of your own foundational energy body requirements to have the proper brain chemistry, even, let alone hormonal chemistry, because hormones are not necessarily just about, like mood swings. It's how much cortisol are you producing? How much stress hormone are you putting out? How much does that impact everything? Because your endocrine system, every endocrine organ has a direct effect on every other endocrine organ. It's a system that is chemical based. So having that proper chemistry allows everything here to be able to be so much smoother, because you're not poking holes in your own boat. You're plugging them, and you're making sure they don't leak ever again. You're taking those swords out. You're moving towards a situation where you don't have to shovel water out of the bottom of the boat and worry about whether or not you're going to sink. Constantly running on E or negative. Like when you go to the gas station and your gas notice has been letting you know you have 50 or less miles, you've already hit E, you better get to the gas station. Running your vehicle like that is not good for it, especially if you live in a cold climate. Especially. So why treat yourself that way? You have so much beautiful, like, you have so much potential to have such a beautiful impact on everybody around you and people you've never even met, because you've affected people that you do meet. You're worthy. You're worth taking care of. You're worth that. Oh boy, that came right out too. Beautiful. Okay. 3 of Cups. This is co-created. And the 3 of Cups, to me, whenever I see 3, and I know each one of these cards is probably going to have some unique meaning to each of the individuals watching, because you have your own relationship with them and their significance based upon unique things that happen in your life. But here, with the 3 of Cups, what I see is your assertive self, the energies within you that want to create, that want to act, that want to give towards focusing in one direction positively with all of that will. To protect, to create, to nurture, however you want to look at that, and it resonate for you. There's also your receptive side that wants to be open to receiving this and take a peek, see what's going on. Begin to kind of accept that maybe it's real, it's actually here. Your receptive self is the part of you that wants to accept this as real, that is so ready for you to just open your eyes. This is a great dream for that part of you. The part that deserves to receive validation from self, from the divine, the love within you, and the manifestation. And there's going to be individuals present within that are going to utterly surprise you. To receive that confirmation that you are love, you are connected to divine, you are love, because it'll be mirrored back to you. And then you have divine present, that aspect that's within all three, co-creating. All of that is within you, one being. This has been manifested. This speaks to the whole reading. This particular card is very powerful in this reading. It's the overarching theory, the overarching tying together all the threads within this reading is the Three of Cups. This is you loving self. This is divine loving the divine within you. It's like saying, thank you for taking the time to love yourself, to do this work, and I'm going to make sure that you're rewarded by experiencing a life rich in love back. Definitely manifested, coming down from higher realm, even there, because this is the 5D, so this is even above 5D. This could be from higher dimensions even yet, than 5D. And I'll read this healthy lifestyle card here for you too. And you definitely have the healer symbol here, which to me, it's very important that I highlight the last reading that I did with the healer mask. This is speaking also to that energy. Can you imagine someone that you know, you love, or even like your childhood favorite doctor was just absolutely awesome, wore like funky shoes and cool ties and just really enjoyed trying to help the children, you not be scared of the doctor's office? Can you imagine that person putting on that outfit, knowing that if they're not there, the people that they treat have no chance, but that they also are absolutely terrifying? Yeah. Now, add to that you have to give them some kind of bad news, and you look like that. And underneath that mask is that same doctor, that same nurse, that same, cop, first responder, firefighter that that only wants to help, that longs to ease whatever suffering is going on, and they have to show up in that. Yeah. And I'm speaking a little bit because I do have people in my family. And, I have had friends that work in those fields. It's a very heavy thing, and it's very, very important to take the time to take care of yourself so that you do not become overwhelmed by that. So I'm going to read this now because Archangel Raphael channeled this to the creator of the deck to be read here. Eat a healthful diet, get adequate sleep, and exercise regularly for optimal health. You do. No matter where you fall in this world, you carry light. And your light is needed. Your light builds the light, affirms the light, helps it grow in others by being present. You are a healer. You don't have to be a doctor, a surgeon, a nurse, a cop, a firefighter, a paramedic. You don't have to be that to be a healer. You could be a shaman. You could be someone who practices energy work. You can be a reader. You could just be one really good mom or an amazing father. And you heal the people around you by being present, by caring. Taking care of you means that you get to be present longer and more efficiently, to be more effective for you and for every energy that you encounter. It would not surprise me one bit if everyone that is tuning into this reading is in some way, shape, or form a healer. So do take care of yourself, because this is very important. The work that you do, just by being present and being in that inner child, by nurturing them, it allows that inner child to be present and mirrored back in those around you that maybe don't have that opportunity often. So I'm going to do a really short overall, what the divine, the universe, the archangels, angels, would just really like you to know. Just sum it up really good for you guys here. Just really to the point here. All right. And this is, since we're doing angels, I'm going to do the angel healing deck here. And this is also by Doreen Virtue. Ooh, that flipped. Okay. Now it flip-flopped. Okay, blessings. Beautiful. It's like sprinkling your light. You know, like leaving little pieces of... Okay, so that's highlighted there for me. Okay, so if you're someone who feels drained, you interact with someone and or like you go out in public and it's just overwhelming. Instead of feeling like not feeling, say to yourself, and however this works for you, reframe it. There we go. That's the way it is. Reframe when you're out and about and you typically feel drained. And you may always at some point end up feeling drained. It could just be part of your personality. And that's fine. But to reframe it takes your power back a bit. So if you reframe instead of like, allow me, divine, being this being that you created me to be, to aid others in some way, shape, or form in transforming their own energy, which is a lot of times how the empathic individual will move through life themselves initially, before they kind of learn how to protect themselves, defend themselves, create barriers, create self-care, really. If you don't have access to that knowledge, it's hard to learn. It has to kind of be stumbled upon then, by accident almost, i.e. synchronized, guided, helped by spirit, divine. To reframe it as, you know what, may my light impact other individuals today, that it's meant to plant a seed for them. By observing my light, may it inspire their own, right? So there's like a separation there. It's not I am going to experience what they're experiencing. Oh my gosh, they're upset. There's the may my light inspire the growth of the light within them. It's not owning their stuff. It's them owning their stuff and you owning yours. So planting those seeds wherever you go. And then you don't have to really feel overwhelmed or possibly preyed upon by people who don't even know what's going on, that have no intention to make you feel the way you do, right? And I say right, it's kind of like, I'm not looking for validation. It's almost the way I've learned to talk, because it's easy to be misunderstood. And I need to break that. This is not about me. What this is highlighting is that aspect of me is a light part of me. Some could see it as a flaw. Some may see light parts of you as a flaw. But we're beautiful in how we're broken, and we come back together. We're stronger because of that. Because of this me saying right. And so my hope is that you guys that tune into this, everyone who tunes into this, will be able to resonate with that on some level within themselves, in the current now or in the past, and understand that there's a connection, a similarity, a way of relating to one another across cultures and times and generations. Meditation. And there's the, more of a youthful face here too, and that's really kind of pointing that it lands there. Time alone is very important to you. And you may not look at it like meditating. It could be prayer for you. It could be, when you're driving and you're in automatic mode, some would call that meditation. Or you're grocery shopping, some would call it, okay, that's a little explicit. So I'm just going to tell you. Okay, let's grab one more card here. Okay, that one really wanted to come. Okay. So I'll just grab one from the middle here. Because, AI, they don't like it when you show too much of, well, really anything here. Okay. So I'm going to just kind of do that. So what we have here is two angels. One is kind of lifting the other angel up from behind, and they're kind of like whisking off in a direction. And it's this protective, gentle kind of thing for what's definitely presented as the masculine, as being the individual holding the feminine. And the feminine is just like, this is right where I want to be. I feel so safe. I feel so nurtured and loved and cared for. And this is the romance card, which, you can probably guess from that right there. And that is paired with the blessings card. And then paired with the meditation is surrender and release. And the broken vase. I just talked about how we're all broken, and we're all beautifully broken, and we're all beautifully put back together again. That movement from victim mind state to survivor mind state is you putting yourself back together. And it's beautiful. Like the flaws within us are, and for a lack of a better word, the flaws, the imperfections, the things that we could be criticized for. Someone who loves you loves those things about you. The things that make you different, that set you apart, they find endearing. And when you choose to go from, the victim to the survivor, and maybe you've done it a couple times in this life, and you just feel like it's never going to be anything other. Ask yourself that question. Plant that seed in your mind today. What would my life be like if I were thriving? How would I want that to feel? How would I want it to look? How would I want it to move? And how much do I want that? And am I willing to put in any effort right now? Can I put in any energy, focus, and time to creating that? Because once you get that going, the divine is going to help you get there. And this vase is a dual meaning. One, it speaks to Aquarius. So definitely water sign. The Aquarian age is coming in soon. The giving of intuition, of emotion, of knowledge, of self, of Releasing that no longer serves you is highlighted, discovered, and found in inner reflection, however you reflect inward. Getting to know yourself will allow you to create the sealant so that you're not leaking energy. And in creating that sealant, you've decided that you've released whatever created that break. And once that happens, the sealant is there, the divine seals it within you. You co-create that within you. The love of self co-creates that within you. So that your blessings, all of these seeds of light, just by being you and reframing that so it doesn't deplete you, being that it is definitely paired with romance, it can speak to many different layers of relationship. The very basic is that we all desire to have someone who understands us, that we don't have to go into deep explanation for relive all our traumas, because we don't need to. You don't need to have a trauma bond, right? You know enough to appreciate who they are and know that they are understood and you know that you're understood. That could be a friendship. When you add in romantic love, it's the divine within you falling in love with the divine within them. So your higher selves, conscious selves, your egos, which are healed and like they're not controlling the direction you go in life, your consciousness is, and you're being advised by your higher self, the divine, your ego, and yes, very important, your inner child. That falling in love with all of those aspects of self, so that when you encounter this kind of love, you're capable of fully giving of yourself and not sacrificing yourself in the process. Which to anyone who is sensitive, which is definitely highlighted here to guide indigo Christian children, you're definitely going to be someone who maybe didn't have someone to help you figure out where those boundaries were, to give you any kind of insight into why you were sensitive, too sensitive. I don't know about you guys, but that just, ugh. So that blurring of that boundary between self and other may have been more of a challenge, may have taken time for materials to be more available. Either way, that awareness of separation of self from other, your individuality and nurturing the self is necessary before you can fully give to that level of love. Absolutely beautiful reading. I am incredibly honored to be the channel for this message for you guys today. And I honor the divine within you. The divine within me honors the divine within you. Namaste.